Let's continue the football conversation, brought to you by our friends at CraneWorks.
Tyler Booker joins us every week, the Alabama offensive lineman, and he is presented by CraneWorks. The big guy says, look for the big dog for CraneWorks and RentalWorks. He is here with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Tyler Booker, what is up, my man? How are you today?
I'm great. How y'all?
Man, we're doing fantastic. That was a pretty wild game watching on TV. A lot of penalties, a lot of crowd noise, a lot of crazy stuff. Did it feel a little different playing in the game than a normal game?
No, this is a regular game. It was just really loud. Obviously, they were really stout up front. They had a great defensive line. They had a great defensive scheme. It's just we executed, and ours was just a little bit better.
So I saw it. I heard it over the weekend. I saw it in the chat room. Obviously, 14 penalties. You guys only rushed for 23 yards, gave up a lot of sacks. There are Alabama fans saying if this offensive line could get better, this could be an elite team. Does that piss you off when you hear that? Or do you agree with it? Do you agree that you guys need to get a lot better up front?
I mean, definitely. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, And like I said at the beginning of the year, it's just all about getting better week by week. So, yeah, we got to cut out the penalties. Yeah, we got to cut out the sacks. But, there's a lot of room for us to improve. But at the end of the day, we still allow for Jalen to throw for 300 yards plus and throw for about 3 touchdowns as well, And then we also went up against a great Texas A&M defensive line as well. But, there's definitely room for us to get better. But, yeah, I'm excited to see how much better we get.
Well, after a game like that, do you ice like your right arm? Can you do this for me one time? I mean, how many times do you have to do that in a game on the road? And you got to tell your buddy on the left that when I do this, that's not the snap. That's just to let the center know he can snap it, because he was jumping when you would do this occasionally. But does your arm get tired of doing that?
Nah, it doesn't get tired. My arm, it's just whatever it takes, And then the reason why there were some penalties, Texas A&M, they actually started doing some shifts, and we usually hear those move calls. So we were braced for the move calls. We just weren't ready for the movement. So whenever we see movement up front and we're already going on silent count, that's just something that we have to be better on too, But it was our first time doing it in a very hostile environment, and I'm glad it worked for the most part.
Tyler Booker is with us, the Alabama offensive lineman, each week on the show, courtesy of CraneWorks. The big guy says look for the big dog for CraneWorks and RentalWorks. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. So, and this is probably a dumb question because I'm not real smart, but when you come to the line of scrimmage there, in that situation, can you walk me through everything you yourself have to do before you do what Dunaway just talked about and you reach over and tell the center we're ready?
I think get up to the line, make sure my alignment is good, make sure I'm actually on the line of scrimmage, make sure I have a good split between me, the center, and the tackle. And then I look at the defensive front that I have, remember the play, remember my assignment, like, okay, now I'm set enough. Now let me look down. I went on Jalen's foot, and then I look up, I give myself a beat to see if there's movement, which eventually happened towards the end of the game. They will move, they will change the picture by the time I lifted my head up. So I have to take a beat, process the movement, reassure the calls with the tackle in the center, and then that's when we go with the play. That's when I get the tap.
You don't have a lot of time to do all that. That's the problem.
That was a delay of game there, by the way.
Well, I think we just flagged you on that one.
You do it faster than the clock, right? I mean, that's amazing. That's all the stuff you go through that goes through your head. So are you the guy, not the center, that makes the offensive line call? Is that you?
Oh, well, we all make calls together. So we get the mic point from the center, and then we just make our calls from there. But I just overemphasize the calls just to make sure that we have good communication between the whole line, and just like the other guard does, just like everybody does. You can't communicate enough out there. So it may look like I'm making the call because I'm doing all this crazy pointing, but I'm just doing that to make sure the running back has the call. The center makes the calls, and I just echo it.
Okay.
Bad football weekend for the state of Texas. I mean, the Cowboys get run off the field last night. Texas loses to Oklahoma. Obviously, you guys roll up in Kyle Field and you take out the Aggies. But those defensive lines, you went up against Texas, you went up against A&M. How comparable or comparable are they? And is one better than the other, in your opinion?
I feel like they're very comparable. I think it's really 1A, 1B. We were talking about it this weekend, and I feel like Texas A&M is probably a little bit deeper. As far as there not being as much of a drop off, but at the same time, Texas, there wasn't much of a drop off either. They've had two very great defensive line coaches. They're very deep at both. Both teams are very deep. So it's really 1A, 1B. It really depends on the game.
Yeah, I will remind you that there is a chance you could see Texas in the college football playoffs, and there is no scenario that you'll see this Texas A&M game again this year. So as you answer that question in the future, pretend I'm Josh Maxson telling you Texas is slightly better than Texas A&M. So Jalen Milroe gets sacked 7 times, but the dude keeps getting up and keeps making plays. Tell me what your quarterback showed you guys as a leader this weekend.
The same thing he's been showing since he really took over. He keeps showing that heart and being a relentless competitor, you know. And obviously, we don't want to see him on the ground 7 times. We got to do better with that. But to see him get up every time is really reassuring. Be like, okay, we really got to protect this guy. Like that really deepens the love for him. You know, we're just so lucky to have that guy on our team. I'm glad he's on my team. That's what I say all the time.
Yeah, because
he's our quarterback.
Yeah, because last year, and I was talking about this earlier, you know, he's forced into the start after Bryce gets hurt against A&M. And look, it might not have, you know, Bill O'Brien or Nick Saban might not have said this is the game plan, but watching it on TV, the game plan felt very much like we're not going to ask our quarterback to do much of anything. He's just going to come in, he's going to hand the ball off and not get us beat. And then you fast forward a year, same team, but this time on the road, you're forced to put it in his hands. You guys are struggling to run the football. And I don't want to call it a redemption story. That feels like an oversell. But I did think it was pretty cool to just see in a year's time how much the confidence has changed in that offense with Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, that's the thing is confidence. You know, it takes having those rough games. It takes reps to really build confidence. And that's for anybody, you know. And just in like any player, it takes that on-the-job experience to build confidence. And I feel like game by game, he gets more confident, and the more confident he becomes, the more confident we become as offensive line, and then it's just contagious throughout the team. You know, so his success is very vital, and it's very energizing. It's contagious. So the better he plays, the better the team plays.
Sorry about that, Tyler. Last week in Starkville, you guys kicked after 8 o'clock. This coming weekend, you guys kick at 11 o'clock. As a fan, my favorite window is the 2:30 window, the one you played in this past weekend. As a player, though, is the 11 o'clock the worst?
It really depends. So, like we say, anytime, any plays. But me personally, I think the 2:30 slot is the best. You know, because you still get to go home, and there you still have time to go get something to eat after the game. But 11 o'clock, you got the whole day essentially, you know. So yeah, I definitely prefer the 2:30 slot. But you also can't beat the night game in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
I hear you. Hey, let me ask you, the Caleb, you guys just turned the ball over, the interception. Texas A&M's out on the field, and Caleb Downs makes that great play and gets the interception. Did you feel like, okay, this is where we're about to win the football game? Did that flip the script on the sideline?
Definitely. I feel like we already that drive when the interception occurred, I feel like we were driving, we were making strides in the right direction, and we had them on the ropes. You could definitely see that they were starting to have no answers for us on the back end. That was the thing. Like, okay, we got to protect so we can get the ball out and get the ball downfield, because we knew we could take advantage of them there. So getting the ball back after that interception, that was crucial. And Caleb's the best true freshman in America right now. And that's a guy that's produced since day one, and I'm excited to see how he continues to grow.
That game felt a little personal, though. Not for you necessarily, but for Bosa. There was a lot of chirping going on. A couple 15-yarders. That felt personal. Was it personal?
We try to let all the external factors stay external, so we got to take those 15-yarders out of the game. But I'm not too sure what was said earlier in the week. I heard that something out of pocket was said, and they made it personal. But what we say, like, every game is just business. Let's go in and handle business until they make it personal. But once it's personal,
what was the out of pocket something concerning your head coach, perhaps? I mean, I know you said you didn't hear it, but did you get the feeling it might have been about that?
I believe so. That's an external factor we don't concern ourselves with. So.
Hey, let me do my Josh Maxson impersonation. Let me show you my bald head and say, smack your lips a little bit and roll your eyes and say, "Come on, Tyler. You know we don't talk about that.
You answered that perfect, Jimmy.
You did.
We don't talk about that. You know the coach ain't gonna like that, Tom. I'll have to tell him what you said, Tyler.
Hey, when y'all are watching film the next day, and we were talking about the toughness of Jalen Milroe, but when he gets that blindside hit, I didn't think he was going to get up. He gets up pretty quickly. But does Saban give you guys, the offensive line, a look like you almost got our quarterback killed?
We didn't get it that time. We got it from our offensive line coach. We got it from Coach Wolf for sure, but we didn't get it from Coach Saban that time. And that's the thing where we just got to communicate better. We got to communicate the calls down the line. So that's why I'm very over communicative. So things like that don't happen.
Yeah. All right, it is Arkansas this week, straight out of game day. Alabama taking on the Hogs in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Tyler, thank you very much for the time. Good luck against Arkansas. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you. See y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care. Tyler Booker with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He and Elijah McAllister, the Alabama and Auburn greats, are brought to you each week by CraneWorks.